Find Ibis Paint on your iPad, hold it down, press the X, and delete it. Now find Procreate. I remember when I was just brand new to Procreate and I had no idea what I was doing. Curves, what are those? Those are things that have. But don't worry, because I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you the ropes. I'm Matt. I'm somewhat of an artist myself, and I know exactly what you need as a beginner because I was recently a beginner in Procreate, and I'm going to take you on a journey today to show you the top 10 tips possible in Procreate to elevate your art and to make your life a whole lot easier. So let's get into it. This is my iPad right here, so I'm not just looking at notes. So first thing first is to disable dynamic brush scaling. This can be found in settings where you go preferences and then it's in gesture controls. Basically what it means is as you zoom in, the brush gets smaller, and as you zoom out, the brush gets bigger. It makes it way easier because then you don't have to be sliding on the left and the right anywhere near as much. It's amazing. Definitely recommend this tip for anyone. At least try it out. Tip number 2 is quick shape. So what you can do is you make a shape. Let me start a new page. So you do any shape and you hold it down. You hold the pen down, depending on the brush. So let's try that again with a sketch brush. So let's say you want a circle. You draw a circle, then you hold the pen still for a couple seconds, and then it'll automatically turn into something. You hold it down, and then if you press onto the screen, it'll turn it into an exact circle per se, or whatever you want. And then up top, there are different shapes that you can pick. If you don't want to do it, then just double tap, and it'll take it to what you actually drew. It's really good for keeping it quick and getting those heads down straight away. You don't have to draw a purple circle like SpongeBob, because we're all not talented artists like SpongeBob or Squidward. Okay, next, flip 3. Tip 3, flip the canvas. This is huge. Let me show you an example. The first time this was one of my first portraits on digital art, and I thought, wow, for a beginner, this is fantastic. And then someone commented to flip it, and all of a sudden I felt ashamed of myself. This eye was much more blatantly obviously wrong after I realized that if I flip my canvas, it gives you new eyes. It's almost like how we look in the mirror every day. We think we look pretty nice, and then we go out, our friends take a photo of us, and we look like Voldemort. Voldemort's uglier cousin. It doesn't work. The way to enable this is you can, if you do 4 fingers, there's like a select menu that comes out, and if you hold down on one of them, it'll give you the option to flip horizontally. Then you pick that, and then whenever you want, you can do it. It's highly recommended that you do this as you're progressing through a single artwork so that you can make sure that it's even and your eyes aren't playing tricks on you or deceiving you. Tip 4 and 5, liquefy and warp. Let's continue with this eye. Let's duplicate it because this is, to be honest, the first time I've looked at this, and I like to be able to kind of keep that as a memento for when I wasn't very good. But if I wanted to fix it really quickly, I could flip my canvas. It's much more obvious what's wrong. And then I can push. If it'll only do that layer. So you can copy canvas, make a new layer where everything's together. Then you go liquefy, and then we can adjust it. We can put it down, we can put it up, we can make the cart tighten, we can do whatever. Another way of doing this is warp, where you select this cursor, and then you go warp, and then it'll move the whole thing, which can be good, not particularly helpful right now, but really good to know. Really helpful when you need it. Let's keep going, we only got 5 more to go. So, tip number 6 is Procreate actually has an inbuilt reference system. So it's really easy. Let me just show you, take you on a journey through the past. This is how I used to do stuff. I'd go onto Pinterest, and let's say this is my reference. This is what I would do. And this literally takes up half the screen. It's terrible. So the better way to do it now, I realized, was if you go into settings and then you go canvas, reference, and then you can pick an image. When you do that, there's all the different photos, and all of a sudden it's not taking up the whole screen. If it's taking up too much still, you can just go into photos and crop it smaller into that part that you want. And then it'll be the respective size. It's really, really good. I promise. Another helpful thing on that note is to use a drawing guide. So if you're drawing a face, let's apply what we learn and use a circle, you might want your eyes to be on the same level. And so this just ensures that they're done, 1.5 apart on the same lines. So it just makes it really easy if that's what you're after. I don't really use it that much, but it can be helpful. These next two steps kind of go together. It's just using different brushes. So a soft brush is used very differently. Let me show you kind of what a soft brush might be used for. Let's take this one, for example, Aerith from Final Fantasy. A hard brush, if I use red for a hard brush, if I'm going to do the cheeks, it's going to look like this. If I use a soft brush, you get a much kind of cleaner and less sharp. So hard brushes are better for base colors, soft brushes are better for glazing over the top. For example, I used a soft brush for the background. This is what a soft brush looks like, and this is what a hard brush would look like. So I'm sure you can figure out the difference and when to use them. But learning how to use each is really, really helpful. And it's one of the best things you can do as a digital artist, is understand the difference and when to use them. Also, there's so many brush varieties. Give them all a go with different things. You can get custom brush sets. You can create your own favorite folder. That's what I've done. You can use oceans if you want oceans in the background instead of having to painstakingly draw it. It's one of the best parts about digital art, so make the most of that. Capitalize on it. And you can use them for different things. Nebula, for example, is one of my favorites. Where's Nebula? Here. And it's meant for like space, but it looks kind of nice as a background. Or sometimes for eyes, it can look nice. There's different settings, so just try it with everything. Another tip number 10, curves. Not curves, that's the secret tip. Filters are your best friends. Curves kind of fall in there. So, for example, if I want, let's save that one. This piece, when I finished it, this is what it looked like. And I wanted it to be a little bit brighter. So, actually, okay. Maybe I want to blur the background. Perspective blur. And see how it blurs the background. Surprise. I might want the shadows to be brighter. So I could do that. I might want it to look glitched. What if I want it darker? Can I do that? Yes, I can. Brightness. And just lower it. It's only doing it for half of the portrait right now, but that's my thing. It will work for the whole thing. Last tip, I like my curves like I like curves. I like my art like I like my men. Black with curves. Curves let you change the lighting, they let you change everything. Let me show you. So without curves, this is what this one looked like. It was more like that. But with curves, not only could I improve it, but now also, if I want it brighter, to see that background that I spent forever on, or if I want it darker, or somewhere in the middle. There's so many things you can do with curves. You can deep fry it, as anything. I'm happy with how it is right now, but my point is, curves will change it, and you don't have to redo the entire piece to do that. Once you get your head around them, once you get past the learning curve, you'll be fine. So, those are 10 tips. Those are just the first 10 tips. I don't want it to be too long, but they were really, really helpful for me when I started. And I use them pretty much every portrait. I use all of those things. So remember, flip your canvas, even if you don't want to see the other side. Use curves, learn the difference between brushes, utilize everything that digital art has because it's such a cool medium. This is why I love it and why I'm learning so much from it without actually doing that much, just being fun and having fun and experimenting. So good luck, give it all a go. Let me know how it goes in the comments, if it was helpful, and if you want more, let me know. Like and subscribe. What was your favorite tip? See ya.